Hey guys, my name's Jacob. I'm a rank 1 healer, and I know some of you want some help with keybinds and maybe macros or something along those lines. I don't really recommend copying exactly what anyone has as keybinds, just to start this off. You should mostly play whatever you're comfortable with. Things that you feel better, like work with, like for instance, my movement keys might be different than yours, QWE, so that would change a lot. But just for the sake of it, I will explain my keybinds just to maybe give you a certain way of thinking about it and how I came up with mine forever ago, and I've kind of refined them as time's gone on for arena and having like a good little system for macros too. Anyways, so I mainly, to start off, I move with QWE. I strafe left with Q, move forward with W, strafe right with E. I don't have AS or D keybound to movement keys, as they are keybinds on the bottom, as you can see. And they're really nice keybinds to have, because they're so easy to press with how my fingers are positioned. So I have very useful buttons on those, or very useful spells on those buttons, such as Healing Wave and Purge, which I might have to mash, and my Aura Mastery, or Spirit Walker's Grace, I should say, which can also turn into Aura Mastery. But either way, so movement-wise, you don't need to be able to like keyboard turn. You don't have to be able to turn like this with your keyboard. All you have to do is be able to do this. And I move my camera with my mouse. I hold right click and I move my camera. So with combining the right click, drag, and then the QWE, I'm able to do whatever maneuvers I need to do. I can run around a pillar, I can just go in any direction I want basically, and I can even run away from a person and still hit them. Say there's a person over here in this area, I could strafe this way and still hit them. So that's how I move, and a lot of my keybinds come around to the fact that my fingers are on QWE the whole time. So to be able to target an arena, if I'm healing, to target my teammates, I would target myself by pressing 1. I would target party member 2 with my 2, and then I'd target party member 3 with my 3. So my 1, 2, and 3 is literally my targeting buttons to heal. And if I'm doing DPS on a DPS character, then that's how I target the other team. I use 1, 2, 3 to target the enemy team. Other than that, the next huge thing that I have to explain is that my function keys along the top of my keyboard, the F1 through F12 buttons, I have those keybound, as you can see, F1, F2, F3, F5, F6, F7, all the way through. And anyway, so that's because I use my Naga, as you can see here, and I set all the Naga buttons to my function keys with this. So let's see, how do I get to it? Macros maybe? No, not macros. Customize. I guess it's just, okay, here we go. So if I want to go on the side of it, yeah, side view. I set these keybinds from F1 to F10 and then equal, or minus equal. And the reason my 4 isn't F4 is so that I don't alt F4 out of my game. So I just use the regular 4 on my Naga. But yeah, because I found when I first started using this, I would alt F4 like on accident, so I just changed it. But anyway, yeah, so I have this set on my Naga, and the top view is just regular. I left it how it was. But anyway, so the way I have my stuff set up is like, say buttons I know I'm gonna press a lot are gonna be like 1, 2, 3 on my Naga. Riptide, Healing, Surge, Earth Shield. And then things like my cooldowns are going to be on like the harder to press buttons that I can't mash that easy, which is like my mouse button that's behind my mouse wheel. Like I have to curl my knuckle up to press it, so I wouldn't want that for like Healing Surge, but I use it for my Earthen. And then other buttons that I know I'm going to press a lot, I keep around just either 1, 2, 3 on my Naga or like around my movement keys. So ASD, RFD, like those buttons are so easy to press without moving my fingers far. Like R, F, and D for R is my Earthbind, Healing Wave, and then Earth Grab Totem. And then things that like are on the next tier of how often I need to press them, I move them back to 4, 5, and 6 on my Naga. So like I'm not gonna have to spam to spell, but like it is easy to. It's like on the next tier. It's not something that I'm not ever gonna press like a huge cooldown, but it is something I'm gonna press pretty often. So I have it on 6, which is pretty comfortable on my Naga. I don't have to reach too far. A Ghost Wolf is my 5 right in the middle. So I can press Ghost Wolf pretty easily, and then Hex right there as well. But to be fair, I don't ever press this Hex. This is my regular Hex, but I usually use these 1, 2, 3 hexes, which the Naga comes really like good and handy for. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3 Hex, 1, 2, 3 Shear, 1, 2, 3 Flame Shock, 1, 2, 3 Purge. This is with just these easy systems that I get used to. Like Shift 1, 2, 3 on my Nagas, Hex 1, 2, 3. Control 1, 2, 3 on my Nagas, Wind Shear 1, 2, 3. And Alt 1, 2, 3 on my Naga is Flame Shock. And it also targets the enemy as well. If I Flame Shock with these macros, so it also targets the target that you're Flame Shocking. So I could use it to Flame Shock someone and target them to then like Lava Burst them or something like that. 1, 2, 3 Purge. This one's a little different, but it's still pretty easy. Think about R, F, and D on your keyboard, how those 3 are touching like a triangle. I use Control, R, F, D to purge 1, 2, and 3 on my Shaman. And the reason I'm using my Shaman to show my keybinds is because I think the Shaman has the most amount of like, it's like the most constructed system, I guess, because it has so many different things, like for the 1, 2, 3 macros, which you don't have to have, but I personally really like having them. Hex, Wind Shear, Purge, and Flame Shock. Like on a Druid, you would have maybe Bash and Cyclone, but that's only 2 different things. And I'm showing you how even on a Shaman, I can pretty much macro everything and still have room for keybinds. So like things like my cooldowns are gonna be like maybe Blood Fury or like Ascendance. This is my F9. I don't spam it, but I press it and it's comfortable to press. My wall is like in my fucking equal sign. It's on the 12 on my Naga. It's like way in the back because it's a big cooldown. I can easily press all these buttons, but the ones that I want to be able to press a lot, I want to be able to spam them. So they're going to be mostly around my QWE or close to the front of my Naga. And then I just have the system for my 1, 2, 3 macros, like I explained earlier. So if you just look at around my screen, you could kind of figure out the rest of maybe why I would pick these certain things. Another thing that helps me to play a lot of characters pretty easily is I put similar buttons on similar keybinds. So like my Earth Grab is right here on F. That's normally my slow button on any character. Like F is like my slow button. So it does concussive shot on my Hunter, it hamstrings on my Warrior, it disables on my Monk. That's always my slow button. And then my Dispel button's always the same. It's always on the same button. My main heals are always in the same places. It's usually D, F, and then my Naga 1, Naga 2, Naga 3. Those are usually the main buttons. My defensives are usually on this equal sign, all the way in the back. It's just I have muscle memory with all my characters. All my big cooldowns, like output, all my big output cooldowns, like Ascendance increases healing output, or like Berserk, or sorry, not Berserk, but like Recklessness used to be, or Ascendant, or I already said Ascendance for Resto Shaman. Holy shit, Dark Soul, Avatar, Shadow Dance. These cooldowns, like the big things to increase your output, healing or damage, I put on this F9 button. I just put them all on the same key every time. And I use generally on my characters, I use Shift 1 through 3, Control 1 through 3 for CCing 1, 2, 3 macros. So that's always the same. My CCs are always going to be the same. my kicks are always going to be the same on all my characters, same keybinds. Then I might have like, I'm trying to think, like a purge. My purges are always on the same button. My trinket's always on the same button. You don't really have to worry about figuring out. Like it feels way less stressful whenever you make your keybinds similar across all your characters. But things like other regular, like not huge cooldowns, but still good cooldowns, like Healing Tide. I'll put on G because it's harder to press, but I can still press it kind of easily. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm dropping the ball on, because this should be different for every person. You should make whatever you're comfortable with. But just to kind of explain the system that I use, for the most part, that's what I'm doing right here, I guess. Let's look at keybinds and see if I have anything crazy going on. I don't think so. Alright, well, I'm probably going to call this here. Let me know if you have any more questions. This was kind of a spontaneous, scuffed video because some people were asking about keybinds. Hope it might have helped some of you guys. Maybe it'll help you understand the way that I'm pressing buttons and thinking about it. And you can form your own system. But either way, please subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and have a really nice day. I love all of you. Take it easy.